To my dearest friends, through the evil noise of artillery, tanks, and planes, I remember our adventures, your friendship, and your pain. My closest friend, Emile, in your twilight years, you came to fight, not for glory, but to mend your daughter's tears. Lucky Freddy, you were always fearless and with intent. I hope you have found peace with your letters that were never sent. Anna, my bravest of warriors across the Western Front, saving the mountain of wounded without firing a shot. And Carl, if only I could light your way home through the fields of war, through treacherous nights, to be with your family once more. Although I cannot write these words, and the time has come to part, your stories will always remain, as will your valiant hearts.
Hey there, guys. Things are kind of broke. Hey, Max. Hey, Ghost. Oh my gosh. Things are not quite how I want them to be. For some reason, my picture isn't passing through, and I don't know why that is, and that makes me super sad. The thing, I plugged you in for a reason. Okay, thing. One thing, go in. Go in. Haha! We have something. Yes, I'm sure I want to leave the game. Yes, I'm absolutely positive I want to leave the game. You don't need to synchronize my achievements. What the heck? I'm not connected to a network? Cool. Play the game. It's every week. Oh, was that what I... Wait, the last beat in the soul... The thing that's at the very, very end of the intro video? That is, the final refrain that occurs whenever you are fighting... I don't care. Whenever you are fighting the final boss of Persona 4. It's called the Genesis. And the Genesis is actually a super, super, super heavy and melodic track. It's a little bit depressing, if I'm being completely honest. But it's depressing in exactly the way that it needs to be, because it goes on. If you look up the Genesis, it is like a 8.5-minute song, and the first 6 minutes are just brutal and soul-crushing. And will you please launch thing? Play the damn game. And it's just, it makes you, the music makes you feel overwhelmed. It's just this constant hammering track and high. That isn't at all right. Why do you think that's the image? That is clearly not the image. There we go, that's better. That's weird as anything. Oh, dang it, I'm wearing a green shirt again. Why am I always retarded with that, and I forget that green shirts don't work with green screens? But yeah, that's kind of a throwback to the fact that Persona 4, or the Persona series, is my original series. It is the series that I began with, and the series that Atlas basically has me for life. If they make a Persona game, I have to play it. Even when they make Persona 4 Dancing All Night. Oh, wait, what? Why are you playing on that computer, you big dumbbell? This computer! My viewers need to be able to hear, and not necessarily through, like, the mic.
Sir Baron and his Zeppelin.
There we go. Oh, and I bet you guys want to be able to see each other, because I'm talking to the peoples on YouTube, and the people over on Twitch have no idea. There we go. God, I love Persona 4. And I play every Persona 4 game that comes out, even when they're kind of bad. So we just met Anna. Last episode, we finally met Anna. That Zeppelin hates us! Why is that Zeppelin such a jerk? I gotta say, even though I was super, super, super sleepy last time, gotta keep moving. Keep moving the other way. Now we gotta advance in the other direction. Move. He's so mad. I will get you, Zeppelin. I will learn to fly. Is he gonna try and climb that entire thing before the Zeppelin goes by? That seems kind of ridiculous. I've got the doggy! Hello. You want me to throw a brick at the chapel? You're looking for a dude. You're looking for your daughter. I'm sorry. I don't know where your daughter is. Yeah, I'm aware that he went... Oh, that's Anna. Oh. That is not a place I'm supposed to go to. I can't wait for Persona 5 either. Omgird. I got some pants! Clearly I will win the war with pants now. I'm working on it, dude. Okay. Doggy. No, doggy. No, doggy. Doggy.
What? Hey,
Go over there. Stand on the trolley. I'm gonna trolley you up somewhere. Man, I don't know who trained this dog, but they did a really good job. Doggy! Get on the trolley!
What?
That didn't seem to help any.
What?
Okay, so I need to find a crank for that. Somehow. Do I need to help you push this? I do need to help you push this. I am not strong. We need all of the people. But you guys won't help me push this until I save your others. Okay. Cool. I do need to find a lever. Oh, more things to learn. The home front. With practically all able-bodied men mobilized to the front, women and children and the elderly were employed in factories to ensure weapon production. Women took on traditional male jobs. Some even held positions of responsibility. Who could think of that? This new role changed status of society, and in the wake of the war, women over 30 years old were given the vote. Wait, they had to wait until they were 30? Women's Institute held its first meeting in 1915 with the aim of encouraging women to become more involved in food production during the war, and the movement flourished. The city of Reims suffered during the war. September 19th, 1914, as the Germans reached the city, they set fire to the cathedral. As the city was close to the conflict zone, it was bombarded by zeppelins and cannon fire. There were actually zeppelins in World War I? Wow, I hadn't heard about that at all. I knew about just the, like, biplanes and such. During the bombardments, the statue of Joan of Arc in front of the cathedral lost a hand before it was dismantled and stored in the catacombs. In the war, only 1,500 inhabitants were still living in Reims. Okay, I got some glasses. Man, the puzzles are actually getting puzzly now. How dare they? Hello. I found one person. Yay, I'm a hero, you guys. So is this your person? Yay! They're my friends now. Oh, I still need to save more. Attack the smoke! I need something I can use to put that out. Oh, okay. I can just stick the dog on him. That works. I haven't heard much about Persona 5 either, but I still need a lever, though. Do I need to knock that down? I forget if this is the guy with the wire cutters. He's got a ladle, but I'm not sure a ladle will actually help him cut that. It very well may not. I don't know how to help you, sir. I have to assume that I'm not supposed to be in here, or I can't do anything else in here for the time being. Hey, Anna. Yes, I'm aware that's where he went. So here's that. Nothing else in here. What am I missing? I think I've tried that. Sitting the dog up there does nothing. Yeah, I know. You need a lever. I'm looking for you one. There's a little kid that's crying over here. What if I move you? Aha! There's the difference. Now I can cut that thing and drop it down. Drop it like it's hot. Okay, I'll see myself out. Here we go. Sorry, doggy. Now, if I go over here, is there a lever? Okay, the War Godmother certificate. To prove morale on the front, associations created in France in early 1915s provides succor and support behind the lines for soldiers without close families. The War Godmother sent letters and parcels forming close relationship with their godchildren away from the front. Well, can I wear the gas mask and go over there?
What?
Ironically, I've solved every puzzle except for the first one. Where is this stupid lever?
Oh, merci.
Merci beaucoup. Merci, vieux. Merci beaucoup.
I saved this bird. What is it? What is it, boy?
Oh, merci.
Compris.
No, I still need this guy. Erg. Sir, where is your stupid lever?
What? Okay.
This game should not be as hard as I'm making it. I'm obviously doing something stupid.
Hey, what?
Hey, dog! I just told you.
Hey, what?
Get over there. I was just complimenting you on being a good dog. And then you gotta go do bad things. No.
What?
Get over there. Yeah, my cats know that you're a bad dog.
Vas-y. Eh, ouais. Allez. Ouais.
I am at a loss of what to do with this damn lever.
S'il vous plaît. Eh, ouais.
Well, tell me where the damn lever is and I will get it to you.
Ouais. Allez.
Erg! Why is the solution not to hit things? I'm good at that. Someone give me a damn lever.
Oui.
Oh, merci.
You keep digging right there. But this is not the character that can dig. God dang it, is that a lever? Oh, I'm... Ugh. Obviously it is, because we solved the problem after I did that. So clearly that counts as training. I don't know what you're talking about.
Allez. Ouais. Allez, vas-y. Allez. Ouais. Allez. Eh, ouais. Ah.
Good job, dog. This dog is the best dog that ever lived because he's not dumb. Except he kinda sorta is. That was my song, everyone. I hope you enjoyed it. 'Cause I'm never singing it again. Thank you, Max. I'm the best. Get over there. We gotta push a thing. Bom 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 bom. Oh, that's why I want to do that. I'm like, what was the point of that? Here we go! That did not feel like I went very far, but apparently I did, because there's nobody here. What? What is it, Sparky? What'd you find? I've got a soup label. There's a freaking German. I've got a soup label with his face for it. Unless it's Eric? Was Eric the name? I'm coming, I'm coming! What the hell is that? Wait, do I have to, like, knock his stuff back at him? Ah. Damn it! I'm not entirely sure what I'm doing there. That does nothing. What is this supposed to do, in theory? Other than get me killed. Oh, okay, that's what it does. I forgot I had a dog. Okay, now I've figured out. What? I don't need a hint? Why are you giving me hints, you damn game? I know I can turn those off, actually. Alright, Lucky Freddy. Hut, 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 hut. I will tackle you to death, Zeppelin. Lucky Freddy seems very much lacking anything to fight back with. Oh. Not afraid of you, buddy. Damn it. I really like this game so far, I've got to tell you. This game is more fun than a barrel of awesome. I was gonna say, did I explode it? I think I did. I definitely intended to explode it. Ah! Not my intention. I'm just a soldier whose intentions are good. I want to kill Germans and have fun with women and I guess it would help if I did like stop running around like an idiot the whole time. I always do that. Yeah, you shake your fist at me. Damn it. God dang. I need to get closer. I'm being lazy about it. There we go. That's what I wanted to happen for quite a while. Man, this Zeppelin! The entire game is there's an entire war going on and we're fighting a bloody Zeppelin. Across France. Oh hey! We got past the introduction. Go us! Chapter 2, Broken Earth. I'm so glad I'm more awake than last week. Last week, I was all kinds of dead. Just over again and saw that I was half transparent. I was like, whoops. 9 months
Valor
earlier.
was training to be a veterinarian when the war broke out. The Germans were only 20 miles from Paris when she received a letter from her father. He was in good health, but implored her not to return home to Belgium until the war's end. Patience, however, was not one of Anna's strong suits.
Oh, you actually plays Anna? Anna's just sort of been here lately. Or been here previously. Hey, you... Give that back! Alright. Ballpoint pens were not developed in the 1950s and 1960s, so soldiers used a quill to nib to write letters. Ink was poured into an inkwell, which, in order to provide enough ink, the quill and nib had to be dipped regularly. I know that. That's my dad. He's such a distinguished gentleman. Awesome. Give me my key! Maybe I shouldn't try and hit it with a rock when it's like over like nothing. Right in the kisser. Stupid bird stealing my stuff. Is that my pet bird? Did I just freaking like assault my bird? I have a daughter. Hi, don't come back. I want to have you. Come here. Dear parents, we fled the land before the German advance could take shelter in France with the children. Unfortunately, the Germans kept coming forward and Paris is practically under siege. If Paris falls, we shall return home to Liege. Your dear daughter, Mathilde. Mathilde is a French name, really? Would not have guessed that. Hi, hello there. I assaulted a bird. I figured that out after a second, Ghost. In September 1914, the German advance took them within 20 miles of Paris. The government had already fled to Bordeaux and was expecting Paris to fall. In the north, most of Belgium was occupied, but under a king's command. 75,000 soldiers were kept in Ypres and Yser out of German hands. September 6th and 7th, 1914, General Gallieni requested 630 Parisian taxis transported troops rapidly to the Marne, where relatively few soldiers were actually transported, 4,000 in all. 3% of the total number of men deployed in the battle. The impact of the public was huge. The event became a symbol of solidarity for the nation. The Marne counterattack saved Paris from German occupation. The watch strap broken by a motor crank handle. Before battery ignition was developed, motor cars were started with by cranking a handle. As the engine sparked to life, the operator had to let go of the handle smartly, because the crank now was put on the engine could cause a nasty accident. I've seen that in movies. I love stuff like this. Yo, watch out, bird! Freaking birds. Papa bird, bird, bird. Bird the word. Is this a chainsaw? Did I get a chainsaw? So I need a thing with an X handle. Am I playing Resident Evil? Wait, what? Well, I'm sorry, the water thingy has a triangle one. Is this it? Will this do it? I don't think so. I can lower the car, but does that do anything? Well, YouTube's stupid, Criken. This game is an awesome lesson. Yeah, I figured I would need it. Oh. Best. Well, what did that do for me? Why did I want to do that? It's actually really surprising to me that YouTube still says that, because I fixed it. Or I told it to fix it. Here, let me try and fix it real quick, because I don't want to lie to people. Also, I think it's kind of funny that Criken is telling me on Twitch that YouTube is stupid. Kind of hilarious. Speaking of which, have you guys heard that YouTube kind of like screwed the panda again in terms of... Oh, I love history too, Max. In terms of like the copyright thing, especially for channels. I know Channel Awesome was affected. I know there was a history channel that's not Extra History that was affected. And like a whole bunch of people got... like, a whole bunch of people got copyright strikes, but weirdly enough, unlike usual, even YouTube doesn't know why. They fixed it when it was brought up, but they never actually, you know, is not an issue that anyone knows how to necessarily fix. It's all automated, and there's something wrong with their system. You stupid thing. Okay, there we go. That is fixed. I do also love that about the... So... First thing, why did I do this? Why was that a good thing to do? I am aware that I need water. Main source of information is the newspaper. Radios were in their early days based on tube technology, and television did not exist. On top of local national news, a news section appeared in a newspaper dedicated to the events at the front. Some newspapers are supposed to this is a prisoners of war. So I need you, but there is no triangle one of these. Oh, I didn't realize I already had what I needed for her. Man, I played Dancing All Night. Rhythm games are a cinch now. Geef. I am not asking for a hint. Look. Hints. No, I don't want the hint. I want... Game... Where do I turn hints off? Yeah, it's a little unusual. I had not heard of an issue where the problem was this bad. I really, and the really sad thing is that Vimeo just left and is not really an option. Or what is it, Vimeo, or is it something else? I need water, but I need the triangle one, and I don't know where the triangle one even is. I guess let me check my apartment again. So I got some water. I have something I can throw at people. It's always good, right? I don't see anything to throw anything at. Give me something. Damn it. What do you want from me, game? Really kind of at a loss at the moment. I've got this, and this just needs to be filled with water, and for some reason I don't have any water in my apartment, because that would be too simple. Hey! I know I need that, but I don't have it. There's this like nurse just going around Paris, like flailing at the air, nobody cares. Okay, maybe I do need a hint. Okay, there's no hints available. Because I really do not get what you're putting down, game. I'm gonna go ahead and, like, poke my mouse at everything. I do not need coal. Of that much, I'm pretty sure. These guys are all wearing army gear, but none of them have a wrench. So I have to peg one of them to make them drop it. What do you want, game? Okay, I'm looking it up, because I do not know what to do here. And I've run around with it for about, like 5 minutes now. So, Hearts, ammo, water. Yeah, I definitely do, Ghost. I'm looking one up, actually. Because, yeah, I'm slightly frustrated. At the shapes on the wrench holes? So, basically what you're saying is that this one will work? Yeah, damn it! Suffer and succotash. I even thought about that, and I was like, no, because they've got them very clearly different designs. That makes me super sad. I'm a little bit frustrated with myself that cause I even looked at it and I was like, that almost looks like it would work, but no. Bum 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 bum. Okay, so da da da. Come over here. Fill you up. And this is where she gets her car that she shows up with. But doesn't show up with this car in 9 months? Man, she must keep good care of it. Best driver ever. Hey. Guys. This is not a date. What the hell, guys? Inappropriate use of personal space. I'm gonna report you. Okay, that was actually amazing.
September
I really
7th,
enjoyed that.
1914. Taxis drove all night. Anna was proud to help the soldiers reach the front line. When Anna arrived at her destination, she discovered the horrible truth with her own eyes.
What, is that her dad? Apparently not. I can't even examine him. In Mons, France. Oh yeah, because she wasn't going to be a vet. She had no intention of being a medic.
No, 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 no.
Oh geez, they're bringing in different buttons now.
Courage, Nemo.
So I can't look at chat right now. Oh, absolutely, Ghost, and it was amazing.
7 months went by. Driven by compassion, Anna devoted herself, body and soul, to healing the wounded and the sick.
The mountain of
Every
wounded.
life saved was another small victory over the war. The conflict, however, raged on.
It's really... I don't know why they made this game. I'm glad they did. It's a really good game. But the art style almost belies the horror of what's actually going on here. And it's moments like this that make you remember that and just be kind of like, wow. You know, you're like, we're sitting here, we're running around with 4 guys, we're solving puzzles, we're like fighting a Zeppelin, and then it's like, no. I mean, she got here and there was a massacre. And she for 7 lives, her entire existence was a ongoing battle against inevitability. I also really love how this is done without like voiceover. The situation is horrific here. Yesterday I was in my warm, cozy apartment, and now I'm in the depths of... No, that was 7 months ago. There are so many dead, so many young lives lost. I managed to save one soldier this morning, but there's so many others to tend to. Tomorrow I can try and get close to the front so I can help those most in need. Kyle's alive. Got sight of him flying a Zeppelin heading south. We're gonna look for him tomorrow with Anna and Freddy. These frickin' shells nearly did it for me. There's no way I'm giving us so close to my goal. Apparently the leader's called Von Dorf. I want to get him. Everyone else just pawns the game, just like me. Dorf! This morning in the Priz, Von Dorf made us capture some scientist. The army is interested in his work. Apparently he'll help Germany win the war. Seems like a nice fella, but it's hard to find anything else about him. Von Dorf is keeping him closely guarded. Not a day goes by I don't think about my mother and my little Victor. I haven't seen them in 8 months now. I miss them so much. Okay. So, you do definitely want to start at the medical place. So that's what he's telling me. You want some water? Both dishes of the mess have holes in them. Not hugely practical for eating purposes, but life-saving for one soldier. The mess tin bag was worn as at kidney height, which all exploded. This mess tin slowed down the searing hot shrapnel in flight, which, although it wounded the soldier, helped him live another day. The stones were blackened using smoke to prevent them from losing the sunlight. Not asking for a help. For a hint. Aww. That is this game is definitely taking a turn at the moment. And then you can just casually be like, I'm gonna go down and start like rifling through the bodies. Oh my god. I think that may be part of the point, is that it really it puts you in a situation where things are okay. Wow, is that an actual picture? First 3 months of war saw especially heavy losses. August 22nd, 1914 was the bloodiest day of the whole war. With heavy casualties, the number of wounded were far greater than had been anticipated. Military health service struggled to cope with the scale of the conflict. Nurses were the angels of the Great War. They were generally volunteers, recruited by the Red Cross and the Army or the American ambulances to work long, grueling shifts in hospitals both at the front and behind the lines. They played the role of carers, mothers, and confidants. They often feature in soldiers' memoirs and were sometimes their sole companion in death. The majority were demobilized at the end of hostilities. Are you going to want me to do this? Really? This is as bad as Walking Dead.
Hey, fist. Okay.
I messed that up. Ah!
Gracias.
Ah, not okay. Socks soaked in refined tallow and coated with formal, most effective ways to beat the cold and damp, frostbite, and other ailments. That, at least, was what the adverse people believe. However effective the socks were, a soldier's best friend was always a nice dry pair. Which is why I just looted it from this guy. Yeah. I wasn't really that affected by this game up until now. Okay. Who else can we help while we're waiting for that thing to fill up? War efforts suddenly required a large medical corps, and there were not enough qualified personnel. So manuals were published and distributed to help volunteers train. Manual provided a whole host of practical solutions to logistical and medical problems at the front, such as how to make a splint or stretcher using rifles in their straps. Wow, can you imagine? You've never really been in a conflict before, and all of a sudden you're responsible for that. Haha! I'm amazing. And you need a crutch. So I'm gonna have to make one. But first I'm gonna help this thirsty guy. I show up and all the men get thirsty. Here you go, man. Well, I don't need that again. I was actually trying to get something down there, but I don't think I can. Oh, wait. Never mind. I do need this. I was thinking I would need an axe to chop down that tree, but the saw might work just as well. Okay, so he does not need a shawl. Shawl is not for him. Yes, you want to be a veterinarian until 2 days ago, and now all of a sudden it's like, okay, well, good luck. You want to cross? I really like how it, in the little thing, it has the... Oh, crap. I'm talking. I should not be doing this while I talk. But it says where on the controller the button is. So if you don't know the controller that well, you still can glide through it. And it's skill rather than, oh, well... Because I do not know the Xbox controller at all. Found a cross. I don't know whose this belonged to, but you can have it now. Sure, I guess. I wonder how much this actually happened. Oh, hi. Got your shovel. Someone is wanting help somewhere. Oh, what are you doing down here? I came down here earlier and you didn't say a word. Jerk. Are you a German? I think you're a Germansky. Not okay. I love the minimalistic art style, but it still conveys emotion so well.
About Belgium. The German army was about to experiment with a new weapon near Ypres, Anna's hometown.
I remember the Sentinel's hotel. You don't have to tell me.
Anna got en route to warn her father about the imminent danger. Reaching the outskirts of the city, Anna was greeted by the screams of sirens. The deadly gas was already here.
Ypres, a town in ruin. Dubbed Wipers by British troops due to its difficult pronunciation, Belgian troop of Ypres was a key strategic position during the war, a hub for road, well, and canal networks. It became a target for sustained bombing from 1914 and 1915. The Germans even used chemical warfare on the town. By the end of the war, the majestic cathedral and the town center were nothing but ruins. Oh, mustard gas. God damn. In the wake of the technological advances of the early 20th century, the vast scope of the industrialized war brought developments on all fields. Aircraft, submarines, dirigibles, and tanks. Great progress was made in the fields of medicine, surgery, and medical hygiene and radiology, thanks to Marie Curie's work, which took thousands of x-rays of the wounded. Mustard gas is no joke. Eventually I'm not going to be able to save someone, and it's going to make me... Yeah, I'm doing CPR right now, aren't I?
Merci. Oh.
Okay, I did at least save her. Because, yeah, I'm already seeing it coming. If you don't hit the commands correctly, do these people die? And yeah, I really feel like World War I and World War II was sort of where all of the like major nations said, okay, we gotta stop. This is awful. There is death in this direction. Let's go! I like the little background music, the little like, da, 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 da. So I got a gear, but not of war. I bet it goes here. Well, wow, I'm gonna need a lot of gears though. Damn it, Ghost, you're supposed to make me feel better. Like, oh no, yeah, people can totally die, but you're doing amazing. Ghost's worst cheerleader ever. Oh my goodness. It's really awesome and really terrible just how good this game is at manipulating your emotions. Because it was, obviously it was terrible before now, but it wasn't like, you know, it was a war, but it was a game about war. It was like, it was similar to when you're playing, say, something set in the World War II era, and you're going around, you're playing like Wolfenstein, you're going around and shooting Nazis, you know. It doesn't impact you the way this game does. This game makes no secret that these are normal people. Did I just crush people? I kind of feel like that's what I did. Okay, no, I didn't crush you guys. I'm glad. How are you still alive? You were like living in Gasville. Wasting away again in Gasarinaville. Searching for my lost shaker of sorrows. Oh god. I didn't know they could do that to me.
Merci beaucoup.
Hey, you said mercy boo, not mercy beaucoup. I deserve a beaucoup. Thought I wouldn't notice that. I thought my French wasn't good enough to notice. You just slighted me, sir. I was wondering what Anna's playthrough would be like, because she was, Ah! I'm trying to have a conversation here. Stop bombing me. I'm not sure I want to leave here yet, but it's good to know that I can. Anything in here? I got a bedpan. The trains were generally housed outside the yard in homes of all social classes, so during the night bedpans were used. Well-to-do household servants were charged with emptying the pans. Huh, so how do I get to where she is? Wacha! Maybe I do have to go outside the building, because I certainly don't see any way to get up there from here. Indeed. Humphrey Bogart. So I can get in from that side. Okay, I can't move that, so that's obviously not part of the solution. I have not finished going this way yet. Okay, now I'll finish going this way. And I need a lever that does something. I don't want to go over there. That is not a place for me. Okay, and so the path has been blocked, so I have to work with what I've got right now. I don't see anything anywhere in this house that could help. Let me pass through it again. Okay. Nothing here. How does that make sense? I mean, okay, you hit a key behind a picture that, for some reason, exploding bombs was not sufficient to dislodge, but... What exactly are you trying to do to it? Kids, climb. Don't hump it, not right now. There's people watching. The stereoscopic camera. Camera that captures two simultaneous images of past planes, enabling relief images. The camera is relatively widespread because the device was small and readily transportable. How do I save that woman then? So that requires a combination. Okay, so we've got 3, 8. One 4, 2 6, and then you fell into obscurity. So I have no idea what you said. So the question is, are the first numbers, like the order, or are they also numbers? So, for example, okay, that's the one that fell from above. So that is, does that mean that number 2 is 6 is the second letter? Or number? 4 is the first? I think that's what it means. 4, 6, and 8. 4, 6, 8 is my guess. So, no. Okay. Oh, okay. Gotcha. I'm the best around. That was kind of a little cocky swagger she got. She's like, yeah, I'm amazing. So this is the science. Is the scientist her dad? I bet the scientist is probably her dad. That would make sense. Okay. Forming a description of what happened to soldiers' lungs when they inhale chlorine gas. Chlorine reacts with water in the lungs and produces hydrochloric acid, creating horrendous burns. That's interesting. Okay. I knew mustard gas was terrible, but, or chlorine gas was terrible, but that makes sense. So this is the lever I need. I'll have to come back here later in order to knock that down, whatever it is. But for right now, good. I'm feeling a lot better. I mean, the game is still, whew, but I'm not being an idiot like I. Well, unfortunately, I can't do much about it. Although I'm glad to know that I'm not having to just abandon that woman. Obviously, I'm not allowed to have solved that already, because this scene had to happen. Well, that didn't do anything. I'm not sure she could just be running around in all this and be, you know, kind of okay. She's gonna run out. Not really loving the double buttons. Not loving the double buttons.
Allez,
Not affecting me too much, though.
allez, courage.
Try to trick me there. Stupid Y. Y coming out of nowhere. Why ask why? Just press the button.
The governess revealed to her that her father, an eminent scientist, had been kidnapped by Baron
Yep.
Valor, who was eager to use scientific advances in warfare. Anna set out in pursuit of the Baron and encountered Emil and Freddy.
Alright. So that explains why we're chasing the...
Brought them together. They had survived the enemy's wrath, their gunfire,
And the enemy's mustard.
bombardments, gas attacks. Now, with her father within reach, Anna wasn't going to let him slip away.
Well, that sucks.
Stop, mademoiselle. Vous avez venu, bravo.
You're not gonna stop me. I forget I have a Red Cross. Oh, okay. I did not do that appropriately. I have a Red Cross. Get out of my way. Oh, you don't see me. You don't see me. I'm gonna be patient. This is terrible. I'm not a patient person. Patience is for the birds. You put that baton away from my dog. And she's still going to nurse the wounded, of course.
Allez, courage. Courage, Nicolas.
Wow. I'm trying to kill this man.
Ok. Allez, courage.
Ah, I don't know what that was, but it looked nasty. As nasty as a tiny little, like, bit of...
Ik wil dat.
I almost expected to hear a gunshot after you left the screen. Emil! What are you doing under that? That's not a good place for you to be, sir. Life and death of the Zeppelin. Zeppelin was effective at the start of the war in 1915. London suffered over 50 Zeppelin raids before the Royal Naval Air Service intervened. Wait, intervened? So the Royal Avian Air Service is just like, dude. I mean, it's London. What do you want? I mean, you know. Fine, I guess we'll come over there. Jeez, bloody queen. Gross weak spot was obviously the hydrogen-filled balloon. Hydrogen is lighter than air, hence its value in aviation. However, it's also highly inflammable. No, that would be flammable. The slightest spark sent the craft plummeting spectacularly groundward in a ball of flames. The 92 craft used in the War 68 were... Sorry. Oh, that is Carl. Thank you, Ghost. Ugh. By 1918, there were 20 million more wounded, all countries included. Roughly 70% of injuries came from shrapnel and only 1% from bayonets. Facial injuries could result in having a jaw, nose, or eyes removed, but process and surgery saved and patched up many victims of facial disfigurement and amputation, of which there were 20,000 post-war. Bum 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 bum. Whoops. I don't think so. Wait a second. Because flammable means easily set on fire. That is so weird. Inflammable, inflammable. Okay, I guess that is actually a valid use of the word, but why do flammable and inflammable mean the same thing? Dear Emma, we're on the retreat. Our position is untenable. Don't worry, I'm still in good health. We're going to leave Rhymes to the enemy. Rhymes is a beautiful city, and I hope all is well at home, and you are taking good care of our parents. I hope the prisoners are working properly for you. See you soon, Siegfried. Wow, I'm a jerk. I touched him for about like a second, and then I'm like, done. A broken .P08 pistol done for German artillerymen. The P means parabellum, which refers to 9mm ammunition. The word parabellum comes from Latin. Sivi pacem parabellum. If you want peace, get ready for war. That's an awesome quote to know, actually. I'm sorry, doggy. Oh, who's a good doggy? You're a good doggy. Yeah. I'll save you. I'll die. These darts were dropped into trenches from zeppelins or aircraft. To the velocity of impact, their heavy tips were capable of piercing through anything from the ground, including helmets or a soldier's skull. Wow. I never knew most of this. Anything over here I need? There is. And again, there's not a lot of actual like words in this game, but when they do use, come here. I do like it's very brief and it's in the correct language because she just said allez, which of course is French for go. That's stuck in my head now. I'm a crack shot, guys. I just totally like destroyed his legs. Hello, Carl. Can I help him? Stop petting the dog and help Carl. I'm still amazed that inflammable and flammable mean the same thing. There we go. I have to, like, assault him first for some reason. Oh, God. That's concentration music, guys. You gotta have some. In a oh my god, stupid dwarf! Hate this dumb dwarf so much. There's a scientist in trouble. We gotta help. I don't know what he said, but it sounded like, "Ah, stole, fudgy."
Ici.
I like how varied they make the puzzles.
Whoa. Go. Get out.
Wait.
Hey, what? Good boy.
Bum 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 bum. You gonna find me a thingy? We'll find it. Can't find it for you, man.
Whoa. Get away. Hey, whoa.
That took you long enough. Very, very lazy dog.
Whoa. Go. Get out. C'est bien. C'est bien.
Just chew on this dynamite for a while, it'll be fine.
Merci, mon ami.
We're such good friends. Best friends forever. Do I want to do this? I don't know why I want to do this. I don't know whether I do want to do this. Huh. What precisely is this doing for me? I'm not entirely sure what I'm supposed to be doing here. Turning that up. Okay, that does nothing. I mean, I feel like this is the right thing to do. I don't see anything else I could possibly do. Well, damn it. Come on. This is an annoying puzzle. It's not even a puzzle, it's just an execution-based puzzle. Okay. I did it eventually. Onward to glory and glory to onward.
Ça va aller, allez.
Hello, Anna.
Victory had a bittersweet taste for Anna. Carl, seriously wounded, had been sent to a POW camp. Anna's father had disappeared with Baron von Dorf, and Emil was court-martialed for desertion. Cited for his bravery in Reims, Emil was fortunately pardoned and set free. Free to go back to the front.
Oh, yuck.
February 21st, 1916. Winter had descended on the front. After joining back up with the army, Emil and Freddy were stationed near Verdun, suffering like many others from the harsh winter. That morning, the arrival of the mail raised spirits, but Marie's letter did not bring good news. In
It's just little
Samiev,
feet.
food was scarce, disease was rife, and the number of dead was growing. Out of this grim news, however, there was one ray of light. A photo of his grandson, Victor, standing on both feet and learning to walk.
Don't worry.
Alright, so we're back with the French. I can get a tobacco case. Tobacco case made from shell casing. Empty munitions were often recycled. Some exploded shell materials were also aesthetically interesting. Otherwise, soldiers would rework their finds to create handy items. Tobacco was precious to soldiers and were eager to keep it dry. Many accounts of the trenches express soldiers' appreciation of a Christmas cigar, a special festive treat for the troops. You will exchange food for ink? Or not food, well, how can I look at socks and see food? That says a lot about my state of mind at the moment. So we want to write a letter that will, in theory, never be sent. I'll never be able to thank Anna enough for saving Carl after the Zeppelin crash. Knowing that he's no longer the front and he's a POW has put my mind at rest. I'm so relieved he's safe from harm. That Marie is doing okay in St. Mikhail despite the German occupation. How much luck can a guy have? There's a huge cathedral here. Makes me think of you. It's me back in the army, and it's not gonna make my search any easier. I was so frightened when I saw the Zeppelin crash today. Fortunately, Father wasn't on board because the Baron had already taken him away by aircraft. I managed to save Emil's son-in-law before they sent him to a POW camp. His legs were in critical state. I'm going with him to make sure he's all right. He grows. Victor reminds me more and more of Carl. Not a day goes by without me thinking of him. The Germans are requisitioning all our crops. There must be food shortages in Germany. I managed to hide some for next winter. I can't wait for the stupid war to end. I can't either. And unfortunately, we're in 1917, so we got a ways to go. There's a bread line. I assume I'm not supposed to wait through it. Yeah, it never ends. It is the line that never ends. That's a bird. That's a bird, doggy. A bird dog. Okay, so how do I get this puzzle started? First step is I need some I need some soxers. Oh, I can climb up here. That's probably relevant. I got some playing cards. The entrances were long and overcome with boredom. Soldiers would play cards, read, write, create objects from materials they found. The Germans played scat. A French Manille and allies brag or pontoon amongst others. I want to give him this. Okay, I mean, if he'll take it. Here is your disgusting... Can't clean it. Here's your disgusting sock, sir. Kinda figured that might happen. Like, he is not going to want some disgusting sock. Not even a little bit. Worth a shot. Oh man. It's lying millions of men at the front with enough food, and it was a logistical nightmare. The diet was mainly comprised of bread, rice, soup, and sometimes meat and dried vegetables. Food parcels from home were ambrosia for the troops. British soldiers had a ration of a pint of wine and a third of a pint of rum every day. One of the soldiers' fatigue duties was to go behind the lines with containers and fetch the company's rations. Sometimes food did not reach the front line, and infantrymen would go without food or drink for several days. No. Not done yet. Over 18 months of combat, the front barely moved. As each side dug in and tried to claw back into enemy positions, the war of attrition turned 1915 to the bloodiest year. The civilizations became hugely affected too. By late 1915, shortfalls in human and food resources began to make themselves felt, while ammunition shortages were especially problematic. Invented in 1874, barbed wire was already a common feature in trench protection battle, but with the Great War's onus on trench warfare... sorry guys. It became widespread. Thousands of tons were deposited in no man's land. Both sides sought tools and strategies to overcome barbed wire, such as grappling irons and wire cutters. Intensive bombardment was deemed to be the most effective method, and attacks became widespread. Dead soldiers putrefying barbed wire remains one of the enduring images of the war, a powerful symbol of its violence. Triggered by the Germans at dawn, February 21st, in the aim of penetrating Allied lines, battle eventually lasted 300 days. Damn! Cubans changed hands several times before the French finally prevailed. Battle produced the highest concentration of casualties with 600,000, killed over 61 miles, i.e., one death for every 311 square yards. Wait, what? Britain had 6 war medals, the most issued of which were the British War Medal, the Victory Medal, then 1914 to 1915 Star, and the 1914 Star. 6.6 million British War Medals were issued, 5.7 million Victory Medals, 2.2 million Stars. A combination of the Star, Victory Medal, and War Medal was a fairly commonplace. Over 2.5 million trios were issued, and under the nickname Pip, Squeak, and Wilfred. After the popular cartoon characters in the Daily Mirror, a dog, penguin, and rabbit, respectively. Huh. So how do I clean this putrid thing?
Pas de brignol pour toi, bigorneau. No. Hey, fais le malin, malin.
Can I just wait until they look away? But then I have to make it dry.
Righty.
Can I dry it on this pan over here? I'm not quite sure what this pan is for, to be quite honest. The pan does not actually seem to be doing anything, which is a little bit not fun. I would like this pan to do something. Surely it has a purpose. Nope. But I can't just give him a wet sock, can I? Do I put it on top of this, like, fire thing over here? That would make sense. That would be what smart people would do. Awesome. I got the ink. Now I need the quill. I haven't seen hide nor hair of a quill anywhere. Where, why? What? Yep, I need the quill. Wanted to make sure I wouldn't just be like, oh, I'm going to take this quill from right here that was not there previously. Ho 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 ho. You get ready yet? Do you do anything yet? Give me a feather, bird.
What? Hey, what? Allez. C'est bien, c'est bien. C'est pour toi.
I can grab some bread. Is there a hungry soldier somewhere? Can I put the bread here? Aha! Okay, that's it. I was looking for something I could throw at the bird. Yoink.
My dearest daughter, I heard from Carl. His condition is stable. He is still in the prisoner camp south of Reims. I hope to finally get permission to visit him. Thank you for the photo. It means so much to me.
I was working hard to be able to write a letter. Helmet with holes in it, filled with coal and wood, used as a brazier. Brazier, not brazier. Slightly different word. Item would have afforded some protection for the cold, while the helmets were made of metal that only offers scant protection for bullets. Stop, stupid! There's bombs going on. Guys, you just gotta look for the shadows. Bad looking for shadows. Ah, crap. I thought I could dig. I could dig for the center of the earth. That's what happens when I talk smack. We should not stay here. Get into cover. Alright, we made it. You guys are going this way. Oh, I'm the leader. I'm the leader. Officers, we issued the whistle to signal soldiers when to charge. Sound of a whistle became synonymous with the journey into the unknown, so it surged out of the trenches into no man's land. Roar! Come on, guys! I will lead you to victory! Yeah, some of you guys could help me. Okay, is there anything in here? Because that seems to be expecting me to do something. There we go. Finally. Feel like I'm playing Worms Armageddon. That's pure magic vitamin. Charge this way. Don't charge this way.
Archie!
What exactly are we charging anyway? They're bombing us. Now I need something to throw at it. Whew. Okay. I can't throw a letter at it. Dear father, dear family, I am cold. The land we are defending is frozen and covered in snow. The ground is so iced up, it's harder than rock. We cannot dig. The cold is so intense my hands are burning. But everything's fine at the village and you're still receiving half my pay. Tell me if you want. Ahmed. That would be kind of a thing that you would have to worry about in situations like this, where can I just like let it go and let it roll into it? I can. That's exactly what I can do. Wonder why no one else in this squad is a problem solver like I am. Now I definitely feel like I'm playing Worms Armageddon. I love that they programmed that in. That's awesome. Oh, I remember this. Freaking getters. Okay, I can't run through that. Good to know. So what do I do here? I mean, I can, in theory, just come back here and grab another one of these. That's not usually the solution it wants me to do. Usually a solution is significantly more difficult and weird than that. Okay. I suppose that works. Guys, that's dangerous. So I need to knock that down before I head out there. Okay, there is something here. Yeah, that's what you gotta do. That's what you gotta do. Just kidding. It's a good thing this is an infinite pile of wood. It's exactly what I need for my fireplace. Where do I get one? Nope, not yet. Ah, that's a mine. That's a mine right there. I don't know why I call a ballistic missile a mine, but I sure do. Wait, rendezvous? You want me to sound the alarm? Hello? You want me to go that way and shoot a cannon? Well, what's behind you then? I love and hate how often I tell my dog to just go pick something up explosive. It's okay. It's alright. Alright, there's a locked locker. Which is about what you expect, really. So that is doing nothing. What happens if I climb up here? Okay. So I need something to fire that. Is what I'm understanding. Kitty hush. Wow, that armament is much bigger than everything else that actually could feasibly exist. But I still need a way to fire this. I wonder if I can just drop a bomb behind it and get it that way. Good job, dog. Walt is the best character in this game. I like all of them, but Walt is freaking amazing. Does not seem like that is the thing I'm supposed to do. Okay. So where can I get... Alright. They got a medical station. That's probably going to help me eventually. One second, guys. It seems like my thing may not be working. That's bad. It's bad. climb over this. Open up this lovely locker here. Has exactly what I want in it. It's what I always wanted! What did you say? Yeah, okay. Slightly to the side of the windmill. Just like there? Or do you mean shoot the windmill? It won't let me reload. Does that mean I got it? Do you mean like behind the windmill? I don't know what you mean by windmill ... X. What? A scrag of trees? I mean, there's a scrag of trees. I don't know what he wants. There's a little bit of scrag of trees. Does he want, like, way back there? I don't understand. Speak English. Yeah, I know. Some direction, because it doesn't... I mean, there's a scrag of trees. Hell does this guy want? That scrag of trees? That was arbitrary as hell.
Here's precision cannon firing. enabled
Yeah, precision
Freddy and
cannon
his
firing.
regiment to reach the rear line unharmed.
Bravo, Freddy! Deal. Thank you very much.
The military hierarchy heard of their feats in battle and decided to decorate the two.
Sorry about that, guys, but damn.
Emil received good news from Anna. Carl was recovering nicely. He was even walking again. Meanwhile, the battle for Verdun only grew longer and bloodier. The death toll was staggering. 70,000 per month. Almost one Frenchman and one German every minute. And it went on for 10 months, day and night.
Damn,
May
that
8th,
really puts in perspective.
1916,
Almost one
Emil's
person a minute.
squad was sent on a mission to take back Fort Douaumont, a strategic point in the German defense.
Yes, sir. Come on.
Alright, let's see what we can find, guys. See what we can find. Find what we can see. This kills me. I'm not quite sure what this means, because it doesn't seem to do anything. Does it mean don't dig? Okay, though I don't quite know what the point of that was.
Hey, what?
Well, what did that do?
What?
I lost my dog. Okay, that means don't dig there. Good to know. So this one apparently does not cause death. Yes, it does. Kitty! You're in the way. Move. It's the only one that's not marked as death. Okay, figured this out. What do you think, huh? What do you think? How come there aren't any heroic cats in this game, huh? Ah! That was not fun. That was not cool. I didn't like that.
Vas-y. Hey, what? Allez.
It's a doggy! I'm gonna pet your doggy.
Knubbeln? Hallo. Was ist er dann? Nimmer.
Okay, Fort Douaumont. Douaumont was on the surface of the Battle of Verdun and was exploited by both camps for propaganda purposes. The Germans seized the fort on February 1916 before it was seized back by the Allies in October 1916 with heavy losses. Meantime, the fort was damaged by a huge explosion which killed almost 8,800 Germans inside. Rather than the work of some Valiant Hearts, the explosion was caused by a neglected stove. The ensuing fire spread to the petrol and ammunition supplies. That's funny and tragic. Terms of the first use of flamethrowers in an assault on a previously held position in 1915. When the attack was expected, the use of the weapon came as a surprise. Large number of casualties. Its psychological impact was huge. Where troops certainly learned to cope with the slow-moving operatives like heavy equipment did not adopt the weapon themselves. Well, that didn't work.
What? Emil, hurry up!
The wooden chest is used as luggage by a German soldier. Suitcases were not widespread, and poor soldiers left to work with affairs in knapsacks or wooden crates. This is kind of awesome, so I'm just going to...
Hey, what?
Okay, so how do I relight this, is the question. Damn it. Alright, so I put this right behind it. None will be the wiser. Dum bum ba da ba bum. I'm an awesome soldier and I'm really cool. Sorry, sir. Well, that's pretty, but that's not where I'm going. Well, So won't let me play with this anymore. So how do I get around this jackalope?
What?
Nothing in there.
What? Hey, what? Hey, what?
This seems like a terrible idea. Aha! That's exactly what I need to do, actually.
Go now.
Go now. Go now. You are a cool little dog. I said, go now. You are not like a frog. I said, go now.
Oh, shoot.
Why am I playing as a group of soldiers and none of us actually have a gun?
Hey, Walt.
Hey, Walt! Okay, I actually heard his name that time.
Walt.
Okay.
Walt, go now.
Onward, mighty soldiers, rising through the storm. Walt is such a good dog. I am defeating the enemy with the body slam attack. Gas stove for warming food or heating a room. Not always the most practical heating appliance to use when trying to heat a flamethrower or fuel depot, not depot. I know how to pronounce things.
Go, get out. Get away.
That was not a puzzle at all. That was a fail puzzle. What is that? I definitely heard a noise. Is this a boss? This is a boss! So the question becomes... I see. Okay. I'm not trying to hit up there just yet. Good deal. Huh.
Walt, go, get out.
What does this do? Because Walt can hit that.
Hey, Walt.
Awesome.
Vorwärts, Sauhaufen! Kein Pardon!
So Hofi. Okay, I thought he was trapped for a second. I was like, no, not my doggy. Anything up here? Signs point to no. Alright, so what is over here? Continuation of the boss fight, apparently. Whew!
Get away!
All right. So I need to blow up these two things. There goes that. I really like how puzzly this game is and how well it incorporates the puzzles into, you know, a semi-plausible story. I also love how the Germans all like dogs, and they're like, no, we're not going to it's a dog. Dogs are cute. I'm not going to pick on a poor dog. Awesome, I was like, that cannot be the end. That cannot be the climax. That would be terrible.
Come.
Well, hello, Anna's father. I want to call you Mr. Anna. I'm sure you have a much more, you know, impressive name like, you know, Professor Brixby, but I'm going to call you Mr. Anna. I grabbed that. That was something that I grabbed. Oh, now I'm gonna switch to Emil. Emil's gotta save the day. You couldn't ask for anyone better to save the day. Bum bum bada bada. My name's Emil. Kitty, hush. I promise you, I don't care. There doesn't seem to be a way through. That's one way. Unfortunately, that doesn't actually solve my problem. I'm trying to help, man. I'm doing all I can. Is there anything I can be picking up to throw at these guards? An iron ring bearing the inscription Gold gab ich für Eisen, offered in exchange for some precious item as part of a program to finance the German war effort. Is this what I'm supposed to do? I mean, I can do this. I'm not sure if it's a good idea. I do think this is correct. Okay. I need a meal. I'm not entirely sure what this does. Wait, do I have to, like, rebound it? I don't really understand. Okay. Oh, I'm actually surprised I did that on the second try, to be quite honest. Man, this freaking German needs to die already. I'm not racist, I'm not, like, hateful towards Germans, but damn. I have been fighting him for the whole damn game. No one likes dumb Germans. Germskis.
Despite the fort's partial destruction, the Germans held their position. The mission was a failure.
Aww. The poppy fields. There's a song called that, isn't there?
My darling, war has taken away a very dear friend. He was like a brother to me, and his death affects me much more than I could imagine.
Who died?
In happier news, Carl is safe from the trenches, and his condition improves steadily. I'll go and see him on my next leave. And what about you? How are you? Are things in Saint Miel any better?
Carl discovered things were not, in fact, any better. According to Marie's last letter, his son had fallen gravely ill. Carl had come to a decision. This war would never end. He had to escape.
Yes, thank you, Ghost.
Als er kaum wer Trommeln anbackt.
I thought it was probably Freddy. They didn't actually show his death on screen, I don't believe. So that's why I was, wow, Freddy's gone. I mean, I'm certainly not going to say that Freddy was, you know, one of the best of us. I'm not going to say that Freddy, you know, is deeply, deeply, deeply affecting to me, but it makes a very powerful statement that they remove one of the title characters with that little bit of with that small amount of fanfare. You know, they're not making a statement here. They're just, you know, people die in war, and that is really powerful. Is this the first time I played Emil? I think I may have in one mission at the beginning, but other than that, he's just sort of been, he's been in the game, but he hasn't been a character in the game. And so I need to knock those out to get the meat down. I'm still, Freddy. I mean, I was prepared. I knew there was a decent chance that, you know, people would die in this game. It's a game about World War I. Of course people are going to die. It's very possible all of them will die. But I didn't want them to. Stupid Flanders. What is this for exactly? These guards are incredibly nonchalant. I'm just running around the camp. I'm... You know, climbing on top of latrines and all sorts of stuff. They're just like, whatever. I sort of agree with that. I don't know about deeply respect, but I don't disrespect a character whose primary motivation is revenge. Sorry, Carl. I've been stuck in this POW camp south of Rhines for 11 months now. My health is picking up and I'm even walking again at last, all thanks to Anna. Marie's last letter worried me. Victor's very sick. I don't have the resource to take care of him in St. Michael. I must get out of here. Sad day today. Walt too? They killed my dog? Not okay, game. I was so frightened when I saw the Zeppelin flat crashed. Walt? He's Wall. He's a dog. I am... Oh my god.
Im Hungersfest.
Why no water flow? Ooh. That's helpful. Well, Wolf's my dog. Okay, that makes a bit of a difference. They killed my dog. I feel like I'm trying to get it to go down this one. But I don't know that I have enough to do that, really. I'm thinking about it, Max. We are only 30 minutes from the end of the scheduled stream time. And I'm not positive I can solve this right now. I feel like I need another piece to the puzzle. Anything else up here, right? No, like... Because this one... I mean, the only real options are that and that. And then this one can make that go like that. But the problem is... Oh, wait. So that will work if I can get it coming back in through the wall. It is really interesting how we empathize more with the dog than we do with Lucky Freddy. Lucky Freddy's a soldier, and you sort of assume, okay, you know what, soldiers are able to die. That's not a the fact that a soldier died in a war isn't the end of the world, I mean, I don't like that he died, but I can deal with it. I can accept it. But then, for the dog to die, the dog is completely innocent. And it's interesting the way that our minds work that way. We've been conditioned to think that, to a certain degree, dogs are more important than people. Which isn't really true, but more innocent than people, for sure. Because logically, I should care more about Freddy than I should Walt. But it was definitely Walt that affected me more. I also made the mistake of looking away during the cutscene, which was really dumb of me. Super dumb of me.
Dabei kann Trecker anderer Mann.
He's so sassy when he looks at that. He's like, Huh. So, I've got suspenders. Who wants suspenders? Oh, more history. In the captivity, class differences still counted. Some camps were reserved for officers and others for foot soldiers. Prisoners were generally underfed, even more if the local population was also undernourished. Prisoners of war replaced civilians at the front and were forced to work in munitions factories or on farms or down mines. You want medicine? I don't have any medicine for you. So, I don't know what to do with my newfound suspenders. That just raises this, right? Here's some suspenders. Okay. Yeah, I wanted. Oh, that stupid German butt munch field guy. There's nothing over here, is there? Or did not have handkerchiefs or towels, and such that was highly prized by prisoners of the camp. Once a prisoner was assigned to be employed, living conditions generally improved, because detention conditions were generally better respected. Meow meow. Meow meow. And none of you guys want suspenders, huh? Dear Mr. Dienstall, I'm an held prisoner of war at Captain Range for almost 3 months now. We're relatively well treated, but I can't get out of here. With your permission, at the end of the war, I would very much like to return to my former position. I still have all my faculties, even if I may not be as strong as I was. I should be fit enough to work again. I look forward to hear. Wow. Hi, I'm in a prisoner of war camp. Can I have a job? No, I know what that's for. That was to fix the water. Yeah, maybe. Where's my dog? Don't confuse my emotions with your logic. So who the hell wants this? What does it do for me? Many soldiers had notebooks in which they wrote their diaries and memoirs. These notebooks provided stories with first-hand accounts of the horrors experienced by soldiers. I don't have any medication for you. I have suspenders. Who wants them? I've been all over the camp now. I don't know who to give these suspenders to.
knoten nog te Klaus. Ik weigerte als dabei.
Wait. Did not even notice this. At least not this time. Okay, that's what it was. I just forgot this guy was up here. Okay, now we're cooking with grease. I'm fancy. So now that I have that, does that mean the guy that won't let me to the poker game will let me through? Hi, kitty. That's exactly what that means. And now I've got a bong. Should I be concerned that the chef wants a bong? Because I kinda am. Visitors suffer from hunger in camps and food often stolen. This box of ham may contain bread or biscuits. Owner could take food reserves with him when he went to work to avoid it being stolen. Ten-second roll. That's totally what it is, too. No, it's a pipe. He's in love with me. Okay. What? Who told? Well, that's the worst escape ever. What? Is this Freddy's wife? Dude, why are you showing me this now? Because Freddy isn't dead. Lucky Freddy indeed. And Walt. You did, Ghost. Thank you very much for not ruining that. Although, granted, if there's one person in, like, the entirety of Twitch that I do not have to worry about spoiling things for me, it's you. It's actually funny. In the very first episode of Danganronpa, if you go back, you can almost hear this. I actually talked about how I knew a little bit about the game, because I talked to you, but I was very, very sure that what I knew was not going to affect the game at all, because you were effectively like the spoiler Nazi of Twitch. And then I was like, I don't know if I want to call him that in front of a whole bunch of people. So I edited it back out, but that's kind of what I think about. I'm like, man, if something could possibly ever be construed as a spoiler, Ghost won't say it. Alright, assault artillery was invented during the war in an attempt to break through enemy lines. The first prototypes of armored vehicle appeared. Generals noted that vehicles fitted with wheels were ineffective in a trench environment. Engineers thus worked on prototypes to overcome the problem, and caterpillar tracks were used as a perfect solution to the problem. No Man's Land was the zone located between the Allied and enemy trenches. The distance varied between 500 and 1,500 yards. The zone was watched closely by day, and anyone venturing out would be shot. By night, it became a theater of espionage, and barbed wire traps were set to protect trenches. When special casualties resulted in this. I knew all about No Man's Land. So I need to turn the lights on somehow. How do I do? I thought I tried that. I did not think it worked. Well, there it is. Yeah, I do have to tell you, the mastermind of Danganronpa had me not thinking that way really until the bitter end. Until they made it really obvious. Until like Trial 5, I think. Aha. Oh yeah, that's... People are usually pretty good about it, but every once in a while you get a special snowflake. Max, have you ever played Legend of Dragoon? Alright. So, Captain Scientist Dude wants this. Max, I feel so sorry for you. Stop playing for a week only to come back and find out they weren't really dead. So we're repairing this tank? Okay, well then I won't say anything else. There was one person that gave me a pretty... I won't say it was a spoiler, but information I really would have preferred not to have. They didn't let me figure something out for myself, but I won't give any detail on it. Good game though, I do recommend it. Oh boy, it's more... Interesting. So we have to make this. Interesting, it won't rotate all the way around. Okay. This is hard. Except no, not like that, like that. That's pretty well it, sir. That's what you want. Nope, that's... It looks like this one up top is not... But that is... Because he wants square, square, and then the... That is exactly it. What do you want? That's what, I made it. I made it. Unless it's supposed to be like... No. It has to be like this. Sir, that's it. That is the shape you were asking for. What am I missing here? Because to me, and maybe I'm missing something. Kitty, move. But that looks exactly the shape. Oh, I probably have to pull this. Okay. Really? God dang it, you're the scientist, you do it. I'm just practicing. That actually doesn't affect this. Huzzah. What are you?
Whoa, get away.
We have a gun. Now I'm a German commander. Don't dig here, guys. This is awesome. This is the way to end the damn stream. Okay, maybe not like that. Surprised I can't aim it more up. There we go. I had a hard time hitting that guy. Damn it! This was awesome until I kept dying. Dying does tend to take the awesome out of things. That probably hurt. I hadn't noticed that previously. Alright, doing much better. I've noticed that landmines are a thing. There we go. That's a bad idea. Who cares about physics? Screw you, physics. You don't need proof when you got instincts. thought there were like massive fireflies coming down for a second. I was like, what? Came on playing again? Man, there are so many environmental groups that are so unhappy with me right now.
Lucky Freddy was given a hero's welcome by the French forces.
Of course he was.
Emile
He's lucky
wrote to
friggin'
Anna
Freddy.
to let her know that her father was free and out of harm's way. Freddy and Emile's reunion, however, would be short-lived. May 14th, 1916. Freddy was sent to the Somme, while Emile's regiment was quartered near a small village at the top of a hill. The village was called Vauquois.
Pourquoi?
This is where the conflict had moved underground. Holed up in their trenches, the two camps dug tunnels and galleries. The underground war had begun.
Alright. And with that, I will go ahead and end the stream for the night. Thank you very much for being here, everyone. One second. Alright, thank you very much for being here. Tomorrow night, we do go back to Valkyria Chronicles 2 just to see some of the endgame stuff. If we don't get a full episode of that, I'll probably play a little bit of P3P. And then Thursday, we start XCOM 2. So, look forward to that if you don't mind. If not, then I will see you whenever I move on to... I believe Max is leading the vote. So, I believe we will be playing Mass Effect before too long, because I'm pretty sure that's what he voted for. And I am going to try and do a watcher request every other game if possible. But of course, I do reserve the right to butt in with my own game whenever there's a new release out, or eventually, you know, whenever Ni no Kuni finishes uploading, we're going to move on to whatever number 2 was on the list. I don't remember what that is. But thanks for tuning in. You guys rock. I'm like so unsure. I'm like, you guys rock? That's what the kids are saying? All with their hopscotch and Cheerios? See you later, guys.